In this video, we are continuing with sequence. I'm on page 13 of the textbook, and we are looking at steps. Again, this tells me immediately that I have sequence because there are 4 numbered steps. The topic is already given to me: how to print on both sides of a sheet of paper. And let me just read through this passage and then we'll make our timeline. I am going to do a timeline here, and I'll tell you why in just a second. How to print on both sides of a sheet of paper. Sometimes you may need to print on both sides of a sheet of paper. Follow these simple steps. Number 1, go to Print Settings. Next, click the Features tab. In the two-sided print box, click Book, then click OK. Now, immediately, I notice that some of these words are in bold. So ask yourself why. Why are some of these words in bold? Step 2. Make sure the end tray has enough paper to print the number of copies that you need. Then click Print. The printer will print all the odd numbered pages. Do not remove any printed pages from the tray until you are instructed to do so. After all the odd numbered pages are printed, instructions for printing the even numbered pages will appear on the computer screen. Follow the instructions to remove and reinsert the pages. Then click Continue to finish printing your copies. The even numbered pages will be printed on the reverse side of the odd numbered pages. Okay, to me this is not simple. I would not describe these as simple steps. I do notice that the bold-faced words, the ones that are printed in bold, are actual things on my computer that I click on. So when I write instructions like this, I put everything like that in all caps so that the reader can tell this is different. But bold works just as well. So everything in bold is something that I would click on with my mouse. All right, so let me draw a timeline. And the topic is already given to me: how to print on both sides of a sheet of paper. This is really practice with taking notes. So if you're in a class and you realize my teacher's describing a sequence, my teacher's describing a process that I need to understand, this is a very good way to take notes on that process. Draw yourself a timeline and start putting the pieces together. So in step 1, there are a series of things to click on. And this is how I would write them. You don't have to do it this way, but this is how I see that. I see Print Settings. Let me just say it this way. Click Print Settings. Features. Two-sided print. Book. And OK. So that detail has a sequence within a sequence. You may disagree with me, and that is okay if you do. But I think this is much easier to read than that sentence. I would much rather just have the steps bulleted down for me. Okay, the next step, which will be sentence 2, I'm going to put down here. Let's review what it says. Make sure the in tray has enough paper to print the copies you need, then click print. The printer will print all the odd numbers. So on this one, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to check the paper, make sure that I have paper in the printer, and then I'm going to click on that word print. Why am I doing that? What is the purpose of this step? To get odd numbered pages. Make sure you know what that means. If you don't know what odd numbered means, don't just skim over it. Stop and figure that out. Odd numbers are numbers that cannot be divided by 2. So for example, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 are odd numbered pages. Write that down there to make sure that you truly understand what this is saying. Okay. The third sentence, which happens to be, in this case, the third step, because these are listed, 1, 2, 3. All right, let's see what it says, and I'm going to lighten that up just a hair. Do not remove any pages until you are instructed to do so. After the odd-numbered pages are printed, instructions for printing the even numbers will appear on the screen. So they're telling me, don't touch the odd numbers until instructions come on the screen. Now, it doesn't say this, but why would they want me to do that? Why would you not want to touch the odd pages until it tells you to? Well, if I do that, I may end up with pages that are out of order. So page 1 might print on the back of page 5 and page 7 on the back of page 2. It would be all out of order. So this is an important step. Leave it alone until it tells you to do the next step. Then here's the next step. Oops, sorry, goes on the bottom. And again, I'm just doing that for space. It's not any set rule. Follow the instructions to remove and reinsert the pages. Then click Continue to finish printing your copies. The even-numbered pages will be printed on the reverse of the odd-numbered pages. So what in the world is that saying to me? Follow the instructions. They keep mentioning that, so it must be important. To do what? Remove and reinsert pages. Well, which pages? These are the odds. Take them out. Reinsert means to put them back in. Then you click Continue. To get the even numbered pages. And even pages are the ones divisible by 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 10, anything that ends in 0 is even. Okay? And that is the final step. Question yourself as you read. Ask yourself, what is an odd numbered page? What does, when it says to reinsert pages, which pages are we talking about? Make sure that you understand exactly what it's saying. Okay, to put the endpoints on this one, I'm going to use a point on this side and a point on this side, because this process has a beginning and an end. When I start the process, I have no pages. When I finish the process, I have printed pages, but I don't keep going. That is the beginning and the end of my process. So let's write a main idea. Remember that main idea has to cover everything in this diagram. Not directly, doesn't have to say it word for word, but it has to cover the information. So I'm going to say to print on both sides of paper. Now this is an introductory phrase, so I'm going to use a comma. To print on both sides of paper, you must click on several things and follow instructions carefully. You can't just go in there and start clicking and jerking out paper. You have to follow instructions. There's the sequence. That's telling me that this is a sequence structure. Follow instructions carefully. Again, you may be thinking, if they wrote out the steps, why is she having me write out a timeline? My job is to teach you how to read. We have to make sure that when you read this, you're understanding this. And to do that, you have to practice. The mind map is just a guide to help you practice, but the skill will only come when you practice. Okay, let's take a look at the questions that go with this mind map. And I'm going to take a picture of my drawing, our drawing, and I want to bring that over here to my questions. And I'll have to shrink it way down to make it fit up here, but that's okay. All right, so here we go. What should you do immediately? There's a sequence word. Immediately after clicking the Features tab. So find Features. There's Features. The next thing is two-sided print. It says click OK, click Book, go to Step 2, go to Print Settings. Uh-oh. My answer is not there. So let's look back at the text. If you find that your answer's not there, let's look back. It says here in Step 1, click the Features tab in the two-sided print box, click Book, then click OK. So, what I have failed to do, and I did not do this on purpose, these two go together, two-sided print and book. And if you look back, here's how you know. Do you see that they're in the same sentence right here? And I totally missed that. They're in the same sentence there, so they need to be in the same detail here. And I apologize, I made a mistake there. If they're in the same sentence, they need to be in the same detail. So, essentially what's happened, if you look at these as two connected, then you have click Book. And that would be the next one here. Okay. Number 2, what should you do before clicking print? Okay, so let's find clicking print. There's click print. What came right before that? Check the paper. And there it is. Makes sense that you would check the paper. In which step does the actual printing begin? Okay, that would be right here. And that's the second step. Step 2. In which step are the even numbered pages printed? So I look back over here. Here are the even numbers, and that is in step 4. The printer has printed all the odd numbered pages. What should you do next? So look back here. We've got all of the odd numbers done, so we're going to this step. Don't touch until instructions come on the screen. And then you're going to follow those instructions on the screen. So that would be this one. You have removed the odd numbered pages from the tray. What should you do next? Okay, that would be this step. Actually, it wouldn't. It would be this step. Remove the odds. What should you do next? Reinsert and then click continue. Reinsert the pages into the printer. I like this passage because this is something that you may have to do on the job. If you get a new job and you get a new printer to work with, you may have to use the manual on that printer to be able to do what you need to do. So if the manual is confusing, if you find that this part is too much to understand, sit down with a piece of scrap paper and start breaking it down. That's what reading comprehension is. Okay, in the next video, the next lesson video, we will be looking at a new mind map for cause and effect. So let me go ahead while I'm thinking about it. Let's go to our Resources tab in your notebook. And in this one, I need to add in my mind map for sequence. So when I need to see things in a step-by-step way, let me just follow what I did. Put a colon there because I'm going to tell you what to do. When you need to see things in a step-by-step way, use a sequence line, a timeline. And remember, those can have endpoints or arrows, depending on whether or not the activity continues. You put your events, your details on there. And that is a sequence line. When you need to see things in a step-by-step way. Always put your topic down and your main idea, but it's organized a little differently than the main idea one. Okay, I'll see you soon for the next skill. Have a good day. Bye-bye.